What is going on, everybody? We got a little bit of a special show on this Monday. Usually, me and James go on at the end of the week and we talk about the 49ers, but the preseason game was yesterday. And so, me, him, and Bashar, my usual, well, soon to be usual Monday co host, we're all here. We're going to talk about the preseason. Twitter went insane yesterday, it went nuclear with Josh Dobbs and Brock Purdy and all the quarterback controversy talk. Unbelievable. People are idiots. So I figure we get into it. I have Bashar from 49er Minded YouTube channel here in the house. I have my buddy James. He is a Bay Area native, now lives in Rochester, New York, like myself. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Very
the moment
good.
you said Bay Area, I felt like doing the E40. Yay, area! But yeah, man, good to have good to have
Tell me
you.
when to
Good to
go.
collab with you guys. There you go. Well, you're a Bay Area / New Yorker now, but that's cool, man. Good to meet you.
Yep.
Oh, just making sure everybody's not glitching. Let me see here. All right.
Yeah, I
Good.
figured out the thing with my camera
I'm
glitch. Once I hit stop cam, it goes back to normal. So I'm gonna have to do that every now and
I
then.
have my lady in
camera
here.
going on enough. That's
She
what
says
happens.
hello to Bash, James, and of course me.
How
Oh,
I
no.
appreciate it. Appreciate it. So,
Nice.
before we talk about the preseason game last night, I just think we really got to talk about. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know how much you pay attention to Twitter, James. You says you're not super big on Twitter, but last night, essentially, Brock Purdy got quote unquote crucified for his time in the game, and people were saying, "Look, without all his weapons, he can't do anything." Blah blah blah. Josh Dobbs looks better. Blah blah blah. So I don't know which one of you ever. Which you guys can go first. I'll let you guys pick. But I just wanted to get your answer to how fickle and just how ridiculous and really uneducated 49er fans are.
Go ahead, Bashar.
Yeah, I just, a lot of the complaints I've seen going on this summer, I feel like, man, me watching the Niners back in like my high school days, for example, when we lost to the Cowboys twice, and then right after I got out of high school, we won another Super Bowl. But I feel like I didn't hear these whining and bitching and moaning type complaints, especially in the preseason. I never heard of them. I heard it once in a while in the regular season or playoffs or whatever, but like you guys know, this is preseason, right? This doesn't count for shit. It doesn't mean anything. Last week the makeshift offensive line we had actually blocked for the first team. This week they didn't. This week they said Jalen Moore got worked. Last week it was Chris Hubbard that was actually the starting left tackle, and I thought he did a much better job. But Jalen Moore did look a lot more improved during camp, but whatever reason he looked like crap yesterday. He really did. Every time they ran to his side, Cody Schrader was garbage. And then not necessarily all Cody's fault either. We saw Chase Young out there looking like freaking Lawrence Taylor. I don't recall Chase Young ever doing that for us, maybe 1 or 2 games tops. So, hey, I'm going to stick it to you guys, or I'm going to look my best against you guys, and then maybe Chase Young will lay an egg the next 2 games. Who knows? But it is what it is. I mean, Purdy barely had time to throw. Didn't get to sit there and analyze the game. I don't have all 22s or anything like that. I actually called in on Vontae Hill and Joe Shasky, the Morning Roast. Shout out to 95.7 The Game. Been a long time, so I actually sat down and watched them. I called in and I asked them, I'm all like, I was watching the game, like, were Purdy's guys getting open, or they were not open? Because it's been so long since I've ever seen Purdy that hesitant. And right away they're like, no, he literally had nobody open on those plays. It was like interesting. So it is what it is. I mean, anybody. I didn't even read this garbage that you read saw on Twitter, Aaron. I didn't really touch Twitter too much going, but I did put a funny tweet. I said, "Hey," a sarcastic tweet like, "Hey, brief reminder, it is preseason, guys. In other words, let's not panic." And if people were really thinking that Dobbs is better than Purdy, did they not watch Purdy the last 2 seasons? So whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, so it's the preseason. It's where people see what new players are coming up and who's going to shine. That's what it's about. It's not about the first seeds. It's not about the first strings. It's not. And everybody's putting down Purdy. Well, here's the thing. Okay, you can say because he didn't have his weapons, blah, 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 blah. All right, Dobbs played for the Vikings and the Cardinals, correct? Those teams had no weapons, but he didn't even do good with them. So how would he do good with the weapons we have? So it's just stupid that people even compare Dobbs to Purdy. Purdy is got us to the Super Bowl last year. Dobbs couldn't even, he's not even in that caliber yet. So it's the preseason, they're like, oh, the Niners are going to suck now because Purdy can't do good in one preseason game. It's a bunch of bull, it's stupid. And here's the thing. Purdy was still on the run and outrunning defensive ends. So that just shows you how freaking fast this guy is. Chase Young is not a slow guy, and he outran Chase Young. So for him to even do that, and Chase Young looked amazing. I was very surprised by that because he didn't show up when we needed him, like you said, Bashar. But I think the big bright point for me in that game was our running back. That running back, I can't think of his name right now, but the rookie, he looked amazing. He was making good cuts.
Cody Schrader.
And Schrader, yeah.
He's doing a lot. He did a lot better than people criticized him for. That's what I thought.
Yeah, and I think he was a bright spot. Mustafa made a few good plays, and there's a bunch of players. Oh, and it's there's a few players that do great. And Dobbs had to be one of them. So everybody's like, oh, he's going to be the best quarterback, but it's the preseason. Everybody calm down, So
to me, it just screams lack of intelligence, really. There's a good percentage of 49er fans that are only 49er fans because they're waiting for the Brock Purdy, the proverbial other shoe to drop. People are still talking about Trey Lance. I was watching. I didn't say anything. I just looked at the comments yesterday, and it sure enough, it was the same old like, oh, see, now they're trying to say, oh, it was because of the weapons, it was because of this, and then when Trey Lance was last year, no one gave him the same benefit of the doubt, and so there's just a lack of intelligence on 49er fans' part. There's those old school fans, like I'd say the three of us, even though James, you're a little bit younger than me, Bash is a little bit older than me. There's the fans that are actually intelligent, that are actually objective, that actually are not so blinded by their fanhood that they can't, criticize players on their own team. But yesterday was literally like, they saying feeding somebody to the wolves. He literally was like the only person out there of the starting unit worth a damn. And the offensive line couldn't block to save their life. And I'm sorry, two of those receivers that are in that receiving corps might not even make the team. I mean, that's how bad they looked and how bad they played.
Ronnie Bell looks horrible. He was off on so many routes, and I am very it's been 3 years now with him, and
second year.
Get rid of the guy. Second year. Get rid of him. That guy, he was so off.
Yeah.
I mean, there was that one throw Purdy threw. It was supposed to be an out route, and he went in, and he was not even close to grabbing the ball. So, yeah.
And there's Trent Taylor, of course. I don't know what Trent Taylor is doing on this team. Trent Taylor, to me, is a guy that knows a guy that knows another guy, and that's why he's on the 49ers. He's a friend of George Kittle. George Kittle loves him.
Kittle.
He can't play. He's not good, and he's not any good. He can't return kicks. He can't run routes. He falls all over the field. He's always falling down, always. Yesterday was not the best reflection of this team, and I just find it just infuriating there's such a lack of intelligence on the part of 49er fans. There's a lot of stupid fans out there. There's a lot of people that will, to their dying day, fall on the sword when it comes to Brock Purdy v. Trey Lance. Dude, Trey Lance is a third stringer at best, and that's all he's ever going to be. Hate to break it to you, that's the way it is. To me, if you're going to struggle in the preseason, I can't even believe we're talking about this, but if you were on Twitter yesterday, it was literally like a war of see, I told you he wasn't any good without any weapons. So I don't know. To me, I'm always about the body of work. The last 2 seasons that he's been the starter, we've been in the championship game and also in the Super Bowl. And it's not like he played bad in the playoffs last year. if it wasn't for him on that last minute drive again, I know those last minute drives in the 2 playoff games preceding the Super Bowl, we wouldn't have gotten to the Super Bowl. Brock Purdy was one of the main reasons that we got to the Super Bowl. He didn't fold under pressure. If you want to talk about who folded under pressure, the defense folded under pressure in the Super Bowl, not Brock Purdy. So, yeah, it's insane. I can't believe it. Go ahead.
There's Niner fans that literally I saw on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or wherever. They're like, "Oh, Purdy choked in the Super Bowl." It's like I want to re-examine these guys as either their football knowledge or their eyes. I don't know, man. It's crazy that we have people in our family that say such ridiculous things, dude. What up, Terradome? See you, bro.
Terradome is in the house. Thanks for coming through. Thanks for everybody for coming through. I appreciate it. Let's see who else. We got Red Jet, of course, in the house. Thank you for coming through, my friend.
Red Jet.
We have 49ers throwback as usual. He's in like everybody's chat. You probably got awesome. Like 30 tabs open right now, don't you? Let's go to the latest news on the Brandon Ayuk situation. I'll start with you, Bash. Can you believe it's taken this long and we still haven't came to an agreement with this guy?
Well, I mean, with the dollar amount that he's asking, I do believe it because it's just an insane dollar amount. And, I'm not even going to get into that whole part because, just every wide receiver in the league asks for the most ridiculous amount of money. And that's just how the league is now. So I'll just leave it at that. Do I think the Niners should resign him? Yes. Does it suck though? Is it's going to take a gigantic chunk of our salary cap? Yes. Is it my money? No. So is it my team? Yes. So in other words, just get the damn deal done because any trade scenario out there is going to be garbage. The freaking New England Patriots tried to disrespect us by offering Kendrick Bourne, and the stingy Steelers don't want to give us anybody good other than their second and first round pick or whatever crap. So find a way to get it done. Supposedly it's in the final work stages. I mean, I don't know who to believe anymore. The rumors have gone every which way, but they haven't gone the right way apparently because the deal hasn't been done. So just get the damn deal done. I mean, Purdy obviously would love to have Ayuk out there. Sure, we drafted Pearsall. Sure, Jacob Cowing was looking pretty nice yesterday. We can get into that later. And Ayuk is Ayuk, not your typical wide receiver, but he's a playmaker. And Jennings is a nice young guy to have too. But just get it done. I'm tired of talking about Ayuk and this money contract situation, man. But we're almost at week 1. We're getting there.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, I actually saw something on Facebook that was funny. It was everybody's worst position, every team's worst position. You know what they said ours was? Signing contracts. And everybody else's team was an actual position. Ours was signing contracts because we don't have a bad position. Our positions are good. Get it done. I mean, like I said in one of the previous podcasts, is I wanted that Cleveland trade kind of. I didn't want it, but it was okay. The Amari Cooper one, but we're not going to get any good trades done. It's past that. Just sign the guy. I don't know what you have to do if you have to get rid of somebody not very good. I really don't know what they have to do to get the money because that's really the thing. They have to. And like I said before too. Do you want Ayuk or do you want Purdy? Because Purdy is going to want a ton of money next year. So it's kind of like if you can do both, do it. But if it came down to it, I'd want Purdy versus Ayuk because Purdy's the quarterback. But I really want them to sign Ayuk, get it done. It's been so long of just, this push and shove game where it's like, oh, we're going to trade him. Nope. Oh, now it's coming closer to a contract. And then Shanahan says this. And then Debo now says, oh, you're not going to have to worry about it. He'll be on our team. Like, what are you talking about? Let's go. Like, say it. Is he going to be on the team or not? So it's getting annoying.
It's bad. It's bad when you got a guy like Travis King, okay, who's done 70,000 remixes of the same song, talking like as if he's got sources in the NFL. Mr. Faith, whatever is the song that he sings, 49er Faith Will Ride With Me. This man's putting out tweets saying it's basically done. So when you're getting to that point that we got some serious problems.
Remember
They
Digital
have-
Underground back in the day? All Around the World's the same song.
Yeah, he pretty much he told me that he'll take down it. He said he'll stop making remixes if I delete my Twitter. I'm not deleting my Twitter, sorry. Anyways, they have the money. They just have their number, and Ayuk's people have their number. I have a clip that I want to play from yesterday's pregame from not Danny Amendola. What the hell is his name?
Mark Sanchez?
No, I know who you're talking about. Patriots.
Patriots former wide receiver. Can't think of his
Patriots wide
name.
receiver. He's from the Bay Area. I can't think
I
of his name.
know. Dude, his name totally slipped my mind. I know exactly what you're talking about too.
Edelman.
Yeah, Julian Edelman. This is what he
Edelman.
had to say about Ayuk's situation. I'll play it for you guys.
Will Brandon Ayuk be a San Francisco 49er week 1?
If I was Brandon Ayuk, I would be a San Francisco week 1. You know, usually it goes, a team goes out and wins the Super Bowl, and everyone tries to get paid. They haven't won a Super Bowl yet, but everyone is trying to get paid. So if they can have the mental toughness, which means having the ability to do what's best for the team when it's not necessarily best for you, I'm just telling you, there is a jackpot at the end of the rainbow. That is a huge payday if they go out and get it done.
Yeah.
Good point.
It's
That's
a good point.
I'm not disagreeing with him at all because he's got some rings. Usually, you're right. They win the Super Bowl and everybody wants to get paid. The Niners haven't won it, and still everybody's bitching and moaning and griping about, they need more guaranteed money or they want to be the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. To me, I'm not against people getting their money because it's a professional sports and one play, your career can be over and you want to be financially secure. So I'm not against that. People could say like, oh, you're just jealous because you don't make that kind of money. Hell yeah, I'm jealous that I don't make that kind of money. But fact of the matter is they still have a little bit of time. I think they're going to get it done. I don't see any scenario where he goes to another team and it's a better solution for the 49ers. The best solution is him being on the 49ers. The Niners have a ton of weapons. And yeah, Brock's going to get paid next year, but like the Niners have been planning for this. So it's not like they don't have the money and the stuff allocated in certain positions. The way I look at it is this, and we'll touch on them in a little bit. The Niners have drafted, hopefully, for the future at wide receiver because they know in the future, soon, when Brock gets paid, there's going to be some people that eventually have to be jettisoned off this team, and they had to get themselves prepared for that. Now, the question is, do those draft picks hit, and do those draft picks actually become, participants on this team where you can move off of a guy, say like a Debo or a Kittle down the road? But that's a whole other argument, a whole other talk. The other thing too is Trent Williams still hasn't been signed. Watching that offensive line last night, I'll start with James and then I'll go to you, Bashar. How bad do the 49ers need Trent Williams back in the building?
Oh my God, Jalen Moore looked horrible. That guy can't get his feet in the ground. He's like on skates out there. I think Trent, we have to have him. He's number one priority. Like you said the last time, Aaron, you don't have a left tackle in the NFL, your quarterback's not going to do good. And that's true because that's usually their blind side. And unless you're a lefty, and if you don't have that blind side covered, you can see your right tackle where your right tackle is. But that blind side, if he's not doing good, like Jalen Moore, that one play where Purdy had to roll out, it was because of Jalen Moore. He got pancaked, and Chase Young was chasing after him, and it's not good. We got to get Trent Williams. He's number one priority. He makes a difference in the run game, the pass game, everything. The guy can go down the field 10 yards and shove cornerbacks in, sweeps and tosses. So without him, that's the one thing I'm worried about. If Ayuk will probably get signed by the season, but like if we don't have Trent at week 1 and the Jets defense is pretty good, we're in some big trouble because they got Quinnen Williams and big defensive ends. So we need him ASAP.
Yeah. Yep. We sure do. Just I don't know what's going on with this Trent Williams thing, and hopefully it gets done right before week one. The 49ers always take their time with this crap. It's just annoying. It's just what they do, though. I mean, we were in salary cap hell before Prague took over, so I do get that part. He has done a pretty good job of signing guys in general, but it just, again, it takes forever, though, especially these last couple of years for whatever damn reason. But I mean, do I think it will get done eventually? Yes. But hopefully just get it done by week one. Even though Chris Hubbard's I'm pretty sure if we start week one, Chris Hubbard will be out there over Jalen Moore. Chris Hubbard, in my opinion, played a lot better than Jalen Moore did last week. It is what it is. I mean, they'd rather have obviously Trent Williams out there, but if we were to start week one and Trent Williams wasn't there, I'd rather see Hubbard out there than Jalen Moore. Jalen Moore, I did hear a lot of good things about him in camp, improving, but it didn't show it so much yesterday. The worst part was when he bit off that stunt and he didn't protect on that stunt properly, and it was just the guys got in super quick. But we'll see.
I will say we were going against the starting defense of the New Orleans Saints yesterday with backup and third string, well, mainly second string offensive linemen, namely Jalen Moore. I mean, they had Chase Young out there. They had the hell's his name? Please help me. Sure. The Saints, the other linebacker, the other defensive
I know
end.
you're talking about it. It's still preseason for me as well. The
My
name.
brain is just not working. You guys know what you're not talking about. But anyways, their starting defense was out there. They played like this game meant way more to them than it meant to the 49ers. So
well, you got to think the Saints hate us. We have destroyed them in some big games. I actually went to Don's Original one day, and I had a Kittle jersey on, and there was a Saints fan in there. He said, "Hey man, you got to take that off." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Man, I'm a Saints fan. You guys always beat us." So I think that's why they were so hyped up.
Yeah, I think the guy you were talking about was Cameron Jordan. Is that who you were referring to?
Yeah,
yep,
Cameron Jordan.
Yep.
Yeah,
Who's old, but he's still a beast.
He's still good. He's still good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but just put that in perspective too. And we, suddenly Brock Purdy's not good enough to get it done. That's.
I wish I saw these dumb tweets that you saw. I had a feeling they'd come around. Especially
I didn't want to get angry and let myself get too involved in them just because, really, why am I stressing? It's someone else's opinion.
I just laughed. But the funny thing is though, I didn't see the highlights, but I read the stat line. It sounded like Trey Lance had a pretty decent game the day before. So I was thinking because you know those people out there. I mean, dude, I supported Trey Lance like crazy when he was on the team, but there's people out there who never let go of him for whatever weird reason, to the point where some of them said that Trey Lance is currently better than Purdy, and this dumb retarded shit that they're saying. Excuse my language, but I was waiting to see if it wouldn't surprise me if those guys came on and said, "Oh, Trey Lance balled out yesterday, and look at Brock Purdy playing like crap." It's like, okay, let's keep things in perspective, guys. This game doesn't mean anything. We know what happened in real games when Purdy played, and I don't even need to get into that. But people just want to see what they want to see and say what they want to say.
I will say that Josh Dobbs is a legitimate backup, and I think we have a legitimate third string quarterback. I think the Niners quarterback room right now, if something was to happen to Purdy, is good enough to get a couple games won. I think Dobbs is good enough with the players that are on this team to be able to hold it down, 2-3 games. If, say, Brock Purdy twists an ankle or, stubs a toe or something. And I mean, the way the offensive line was playing yesterday, they play like that during the regular season, we might see Josh Dobbs, which is pretty sad. But I definitely think this is a pretty good quarterback room. I don't know if you guys agree. I think Josh Dobbs, I know he does a lot of stuff outside structure, and that frustrates people, but I really don't care. As long as he's moving the ball down the field and scoring points, I'm okay with that. And your backup quarterback should be able to win you 3-4 games if someone is to go down. They should be that good. It shouldn't be just a precipitous, huge drop off where now you can barely get first downs and kick field goals. So I'll let you guys decipher that one, but I think the quarterback room looks pretty decent, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I mean, it looks better than what we had with Darnold last year, and Brandon Allen looks better than he did last year, in my opinion. Not that I say that he's the ideal backup or anything like that, but He looks like he has a better grasp of the offense. His athleticism isn't too bad. Josh Dobbs, on the other hand, speaking of athleticism, when he had that scramble on the left side of the field, I thought, I was like, okay, cool. He got away from the defender. I thought he was going to get sacked, but he didn't. And I was thinking, okay, he probably just goes out. He probably just gets 2 yards off of this. And next thing you know, the 2 yards become 10 yards. And he got a first down. I was like, dang, he turned on the gears really quick. So that was just fun to watch. And obviously, he had a really, really nice throw to Jacob Cowing. Kind of looked a little wobbly in there if you go back and look at it, if you want to be a nitpicker. But at the end of the day, it was just a nice connection to Jacob Cowing. And in general, the quarterback room looks a lot nicer. I mean, you got Tanner Mordecai in the mix, who if they could ever make anything out of him, he'd be a really, really nice number 2 quarterback as well. So I'm okay with the QBs. I really am.
Yeah, I think the QBs look good. Dobbs was all over the place on the field, running, passing. What I like about Dobbs is his progressions were fast. Yes, the offensive line wasn't very good, so he threw the ball fast. He was throwing the ball the ball was out of his hand very quick, which is good. And then that pass to Cowing was great. I didn't think he was going to catch it, but he did, and it was a great pass. Don't forget that Brandon Allen pump fake, though. That thing was awesome.
I wish I could remember. I forgot it.
That guy flew.
Yeah,
it was like Allen Iverson shaking somebody. It was awesome. It was perfect. So
I need to see this again.
Yeah, he made the guy fly by. So Brandon Allen looks better. I'm very happy with our backups. I mean, they looked very good yesterday. Yet again, it's preseason. But for preseason, like I said, preseason is for the guys to see, the coaches to see who's progressing, and our quarterbacks are progressing. So that's good.
49ers have goals that reach far, far past preseason ball. There's teams that this is their Super Bowl. They play really, really well in the preseason. They go undefeated, and then they win one game during the regular season. I don't care if the Niners go winless in the preseason. I don't care if I don't see the starters. To me, the preseason is about who are the guys that come in if the starters go down, and are they any good, and can the Niners do something with them and win games? Quarterback looks pretty decent. I know we'll talk about it. Safety looks pretty decent. Corners look pretty decent. The wide receiver room has some potential if Ayuk comes back and if we can see something out of Pearsall. But there's some positives, and you want to see those positives. Like going into that game yesterday, I was watching a lot of people's tweets, and they were saying, this is who I'm looking for. This is who I'm looking for. This is what I want to see. And pretty much all the guys that they wanted to see had pretty good games yesterday, So we can talk about Cowing. I thought he played. I think that guy is. This kind of feels like a repeat of when we drafted Debo and Jalen Hurd, and one guy outshined the other guy, and the other guy never got a chance to play because he was always hurt. A little bit of deja vu going on. I hope I'm wrong. But thoughts on Cowing yesterday, Bash? I thought he looked pretty good.
Yeah. Like if you were for example, in the return game, if you go back to what we had in Ray McLeod, who was supposed to be this really nice big time returner from the Steelers, and we picked him up and didn't really do much. He barely ever shined in the return game. Once a blue moon, he had an okay play in the passing game, but right off the bat, just Cowing off physically, let's just say this: he's not he's a really, really short dude. I was reading about him and watching his draft videos after we drafted him because I didn't know who he was initially. But I was like, okay, he's an undersized guy. I've seen a ton of undersized guys like this who are really, really fast, like ball out in college, and then once they get to the NFL, they fizzle out really, really quick. So I had to bite my tongue on it, but so far so good. I mean, he's a smaller guy, but he's got a nice little build to him for a short little dude. Definitely his speed in the 40 time translates to the field. It's not like the crap you see with Danny Gray where he ran this great 40 time and he can't even get any damn separation. Hate to say that because I was really, really pushy for Danny Gray. As far as Pearsall goes, they said he's going to practice this week. I wouldn't close it. I've seen tons of Niner fans just close the book on him already, as if we had him for 10 years and he only got to play one game for 10 seasons. It's like, slow the fuck down, guys, please. I mean, the few practices he had, Purdy said a lot of good things about him. Raj was at the practice a few weeks ago, and literally the first play of practice, here goes Purdy dropping back 45. He threw the ball 45 yards in the air, according to Raj and a few others. And shout out to Raj from RSF 49ers. You guys know who he is. And lo and behold, a 50-yard touchdown pass to Pearsall in the first play of the game in practice. And who was guarding Pearsall? Diamondo Lenore, who was having a killer camp, the hyena, headed for a Pro Bowl, possibly all-pro type season. And I'm not saying that Pearsall is the next greatest thing since sliced bread or any bull crap like that. All I'm saying is slow down with finishing off his career and saying he's a total bust. And I knew we should have drafted. This is the crap I see on Facebook and Twitter. So dumb. I knew we should have drafted this other guy instead. The moment I saw the pick, I hated it. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up, man. Just let him play. Let him play. Just let him get on the field, and then we can make that decision. If he drops 20 passes in the next 5 games when he plays, okay, then say he sucks. I don't know.
Bashar is in midseason for him, baby.
I already am. I'm already dropping F-bombs, and I'm already cussing.
There you go.
I look at him, Pearsall, or excuse me, Cowing, and like the fact that they put him in an end around yesterday. You know, they had a little bit of switcheroo. You know, a little window dressing like they do with like Debo and sometimes even Kittle running that. If he's got the quicks to get around the corner, that's great. You know, save Debo, save Kittle, use Cowing. If like that's because we beat these guys up so bad during the regular season because only certain people can run certain plays. But we have another guy that can go in there and run that. I even think Pearsall could be quick enough to run some of that misdirection stuff that we do. 49er fans on Twitter, especially, you can't let yourself get distracted by it because there's a lot of stupid people out there. There's a lot of lack of education. There's a lot of people that go on Twitter and say a lot of horrible things about people of different ethnicities or religion or whatever. It's not a good place, especially not for sports. So I'm learning not to engage those people anymore because I know it doesn't lead to anything. But you were right. It was Pearsall was pretty much the worst draft pick ever, according to people yesterday when Cowing was playing well.
I don't know if these people do it for drama or if they're just doing it because they're uneducated or both. Because it's freaking retarded. I mean, it's like, dude, we just got this guy. How the hell are you going to say he's a bust already? Trey Lance took 2 years for us to say he was really a bust, you know? So calm down, people. It's just it's making us talk about it. It just makes me feel stupid talking about it, you know?
Yeah.
It's at the end of the day, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. That's all I have to say. I mean, sure.
Yeah.
You know, maybe 2 or 3 years down the road, maybe this guy is the worst pick in Niner history, or maybe he's serviceable, or maybe he's pretty badass. So we'll find out. We'll see what he is.
And we forget about Juwan Jennings too. Nobody's talked about Juwan Jennings.
Oh yeah,
guy is a beast. That's why I'm like so confused what we're gonna do because, you know, we have Pearsall who could be a slot, you know, and should be the slot, and then we got Juwan who can just catch anything and shove anybody. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Shanahan's playbook looks when it comes to that 3rd and 4th wide receiver, because he can mix up Cowing in there. You know, he could bring a running back even to wide receiver. We got some athletic running backs that can catch. So we'll see what happens.
To me, it looks like the wide receiver room, a lot of people are saying goes Debo, Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, Pearsall, Cowing, and Conley.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Conley
what it's going to
definitely.
be.
Conley's hey, listen, I didn't know.
Conley is a beast. In the Super Bowl, that guy was
Right,
animal.
he's just like a veteran guy you could throw the ball to on like 3rd and 5, and you know he's going to catch it. You know, and everybody has to have that one guy who don't do jack crap for the whole game, but yet when you need a big catch and big moment, he's there for you. And yeah, I think he's that guy. 49ers throwback says
Isaac
man,
Guerrero.
Aaron, I really want to see Ricky Pearsall and Isaac Guerrero. Supposedly both are ready to make it back to practice this week.
Yeah.
That's
Let's
just more. That's just more firepower for the Niners. If they, you know, like I said, if it's funny, these guys they don't get hurt in college, Pearsall, and then as soon as they get to the 49ers, they can't stay healthy.
Guerrero did get hurt in college, though. He did have
Guerrero
issues.
had a lot of issues in college. A lot of
Guerrero
they said
did,
hamstring problems.
Yeah, so they need to fix it one way or another, both of them. So, Yeah, but so far the rookie class, despite those guys being out, so far the rookie class has looked pretty decent. I mean, if you were to tell me that Pooney was drafted in round 1, I'd believe it because he looks like a first rounder when he's out there. He looks like literally the best, probably the best offensive lineman we drafted since when we in round 1 since Yapati and
Mike Yapati.
Anthony Davis. So those two guys, Anthony Davis was good too. He just left way too early when he shouldn't have. But back to Conley. Conley's an older dude, but he's still pretty fast. He's got good size and he's comfortable in the offense. And hey, man, I mean, at the end of the day, we do got some young guys in the mix, but we got it's a nice mix of young and old. And I don't see Trey Taylor sticking around. Danny Gray's probably going to kick rocks. Is what it is, dude. I mean, we got 2 younger guys in the mix, and I don't know. I mean, we do got some developmental guys that'll probably stick around the practice squad. I don't know if Tay Martin does. He doesn't look too bad in the preseason. Probably forgetting some other wide receivers' names, but I like what I see in the wide receiver group. If we can sign Ayuk, this is easily the deepest wide receiver core on the potentially the deepest wide receiver core I've seen on Niners in years. Maybe 10 years, 15 years. I don't know.
Yeah, Pooney to me, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw that block where McKivitz got whipped and Pooney turned around, almost did a 360 pirouette and caught the guy on the back end.
I got to see this.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, I got to see that.
It's a pretty nice. So it's McKivitz is facing the outside. The guy completely just whoop right around him, right? And Pooney, who's facing straight, turns to his left and catches the guy on the backside of it. So just he can move for a big guy.
I'm not a big McKivitz fan, but there are some people who held out hope for him.
I'm not a McKivitz fan either.
When we didn't draft a tackle, and they're like, "Well, McKivitz, 49ers believe him, and he's going to have a great season this upcoming year." I'm like, I hope you're right. But at the end of the day, I mean, you put a better right guard next to McKivitz, you could, not to say that McKivitz isn't going to make mistakes and not mess up, but things will look better on the right on the right side, and McKivitz could possibly play better just for the fact that he has a better player next to him. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just want to say thanks to the people that are actually in here because I know there's a lot of people going live right now. Don't have a ton of people watching here, but for those who are in here, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Those of you on Twitter, if you're on Twitter and you can come over to YouTube, you can catch us on this side. But again, thank you very much. Kingston. He had a good game last week as far as PFF and pressures, no pressures being allowed. I didn't watch too much of him in this game. I didn't pay much attention. I did
notice the guy's pretty damn big. He's a pretty big dude, man.
Yeah,
he looks like a first rounder physically.
So against the Saints, Pooney had 30 pass blocking opportunities. He allowed 1 pressure, 0 QB hits. And through the 2 games, he's given 0 sacks through 44 pass blocking opportunities and has allowed 1 pressure, 0 QB hits, and 0 sacks so far. That's how Pooney's lifted. And I know it's the preseason, but I'm saying, when we want the narrative to fit us, we can do that. That's what I'm doing right now. Yeah. But now,
too bad we couldn't have drafted another Pooney as well to have him play right tackle.
Yeah, for once we can draft a lineman in the top 3 rounds. You don't even have to draft a lineman in the top 5 rounds, even sometimes, and they turn into beasts. So, just draft a few linemen once in a while. Look at this guy; he's killing it.
Yeah, Pooney looks nice. Thank you, Red Jet. She says, "I love you, Aaron, Bash, and my man James. James, it's Cowan, right?"
Yep, it's pretty close to Cowan.
I'm getting confused.
Yeah.
I'm going to call him the wrong last name on this name.
I want to go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah.
I want to bring up something I saw ran across on Twitter from Brian Carter. Really good dude. I had him on my channel a while back, but he put something up on Twitter. It said, this is his assessment of the game. He said, stock up. Jacob Cowing, obviously everybody's talking about him. Joshua Dobbs, really nice game. Curtis Robinson, and that's an obscure player who I've seen on the roster. Was he on the roster 2 years ago? I know he's on the roster last year, and I never cared for that name. was like, okay, special teamer, big deal, whatever. But what you guys can get more into him later. Obviously Pooney and Tongas is another name that was very obscure, and I guess he had a decent game. Stock down, Danny Gray, obviously, even though he did make that nice catch when he dropped it, and other guys were going to pick it up, but he got it back. Ronnie Bell, yeah, definitely. Latu and Demetrius Flanagan-Fultz. I saw him get worked on one play where he took a really crappy angle and the running back just busted through. And yeah, with the way the other linebackers are stepping up, I don't think he's going to be on the team anymore. So.
Yeah, he's been a backup for so long, but he's never really shown that he can be, almost a starter. Flanagan-Fowles. I mean, he's.
49 media is going to get mad at me because he likes the Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles. he always hypes him up.
I don't like him.
I will tell you, I felt Tatum Bethune, who's I think a 7th round linebacker, he led the team in tackles 2 weeks in a row. He's an obscure 7th round pick that's probably not going to get any love, but he's a solid player, At a backup.
Here we go, Borland.
You can't have stars everywhere across the board.
He looked good. Bethune looked good. Yeah. I was watching him yesterday. He looked good.
Yeah.
Jalen Graham, Curtis Robinson, all those.
Yeah.
I was so worried about Greenlaw, but I'm like, well, all these guys are just stepping up. Our coaching, our linebacker coaching is exceptional. It really is.
Yep.
We brought
Devondre
that guy,
Campbell,
KJ Wright.
Right? Too bad in the game.
Is KJ Wright the main linebacker coach? Because I know he's one of our linebacker coaches. I think he is the main linebacker coach.
No, our linebacker coach
former
is somebody else.
I know we have him on our coaching staff, the former Seahawk, KJ Wright.
Yeah, KJ Wright. Yeah.
Graham Winters and Bethune. Yep.
Oh yeah, I forgot about D Winters. Now, when I called it on 95.7 the game, they told me that Winters did not play, and then I could have sworn I heard Larry Krueger say he did play. So I don't know who to believe, but I didn't recall seeing D Winters out there, and I love D Winters.
I didn't remember seeing him either.
Yeah, I didn't see him either. What about Campbell?
I like that, Pterodome.
What about Campbell? What do you guys think of him?
I thought Devondre Campbell did look decent. I mean, I
saw him make one good play, but I forgot exactly what it was. But
it was right in the beginning. He was. I think it was a pitch, and he kind of stopped the line from getting a hole. But he looks slow a little bit, but I think he's going to be good. We haven't had a big guy on the edge like that since I don't even know who. I mean,
yeah,
man, back in Alden Smith days, that was nice.
I never liked the Campbell signing. Well, he was our second choice, so we had Hendricks in, and then Hendricks decided to turn his face and go play for the Cowboys. Good luck. Yeah, Trent Taylor, Ronnie Bell, and Latu. I don't see any of those guys making the team. Ronnie Bell maybe because it's his second year, but Trent Taylor, Latu, no way. There's no way. You can't be serious.
I hope Trent Taylor doesn't make the team due to nepotism, due to him being buddy with whoever's on the team, because that would suck.
Yeah, he's not the guy.
I feel like both lines of scrimmage are a little bit on the down. Like I would give him a thumbs down. Offensive line is kind of iffy right now without the starters and without Trent. D line to me is a little scary on the edge. After the I would say like the main 6 defensive linemen, we have some serious deficiencies, especially on the edge. Gross Matos is like a hybrid kind of guy. You got Leonard Floyd, and then the rookie that we signed last year. I haven't seen anything from him in the preseason. Not D Winters. What the hell is his name?
Oh, I saw him yesterday. Robert Beal Jr. He was getting worked, dude. He was getting worked. He cannot stop the run for anything. And he put on a lot of weight this year, quality weight that is, but he does not look good. Which sucks is I've been hoping that he is going to turn out and be a good player.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys some defensive grades if you want, really quick.
Okay.
Nothing really good. So Alex Barrett had himself a game. He's a little obscure guy, but I know who he is. 93.5 PFF rating. We got Curtis Robinson, who obviously stood out. 78.6 PFF rating. Jonathan Garvin, former the Green Bay Packer defensive end. He didn't look bad either. 77.7. George Odom, the safety, 77.1, and Devondre Campbell, 72.7. So there you go. Those are the highest rankings for highest ratings for PFF on defense.
It's weird with PFF. Sometimes you think somebody has a great game, and then PFF has them like just abysmal.
Zero.
Yeah,
Zero.
sometimes. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say PFF's the gospel, but it does help to check them out and see what they have to say every now and then.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think the Niners at safety have some players. If Hufanga can physically get himself back into shape for week 1, we have Jair Brown, we have Malik Mustafa, I think, right? Malik.
Yeah. Well, I say Malik Mustafa, but everybody says Mustafa. So
and then Odom, he's not bad. Yeah. I feel like the Niners are 4 deep at safety.
Oh, yeah.
It's a strength. Cornerback.
Renardo Green, yeah.
Renardo Green looked solid yesterday.
Very good.
I thought Renardo Green looked okay. Womack had a decent game. But yeah, Renardo Green, you got to think he's probably going to be number 4. If if you have Diamador Lenore playing outside, Javarius Ward playing the other corner, Renardo Green, unless Yiadom, I don't know Yiadom's injury situation is right now, if he's going to make it back for the regular season. But I mean, it's funny. We have some position groups who have like no room for error and no room for injury. And then you have the safety position who are pretty solid. Linebacker room is pretty solid. I think Johnny Holland is the linebacker coach.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is.
It's Johnny Holland.
I don't know how I forgot his name, but again, it's preseason for me.
It just hit me all of a sudden. It was like Holland just went through.
I literally pulled up the roster of all the coaches. I was going to mention it, but I'm pretty sure KJ Wright helps out with the linebackers. He has to. Yeah, he's a pretty damn good player. It's good to have both of them around. And I remember Johnny Holland as a player too. He was good.
One thing that worried me yesterday watching the game was Jake Moody. Something's off with that guy. He is the most unpredictable field goal kicker I've ever seen. He can nail a 56-yarder in the Super Bowl, and then he can kick a kick, 50 feet wide to the right in a preseason game. I know there was a little pressure up the middle, but it's just man.
There was bad blocking. I get that part, but still, it was him. For the most part, he nails them, and then every now and then he has that ugly kick that's just going to pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's the scary part. I think it's also crazy that we drafted him so high. I still think to that. I'm like, we could have got like a decent player.
Jones.
And we got
DeJuan Jones was there, offensive tackle. We could have drafted DeJuan Jones.
If you thought I cussed a lot today, you should have heard me. You should have seen me live on the live draft day video when we passed up on DeJuan Jones 3 times. I cussed up a storm.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, DeJuan Jones could have had a real tackle there, but instead.
And then I had so many people tell me I was dumb on Twitter. Oh, he's too fat to play in Kyle's system. He weighs too much. We would never get a guy like that in our scheme. I'm like, all right, whatever. He's a balling out on the Browns. So now what?
40 Money Media also brought another guy up that looked solid yesterday, Darrell Luter Jr. I thought he looked pretty solid too. Yep.
He scared me though when he did not turn around. I'm like, dude, turn around.
I was waiting for defensive pass interference to be called because he was literally face blocking the guy. He got lucky. He got lucky. The ball did hit him, but he almost looked like Bill Romanowski in Super Bowl 2024 when he has his back turned to the play, and the Broncos ended up getting a 1st and goal on that one. So about 34 years ago, but yeah, go ahead, Bash.
I don't know how you remember that play. I don't remember that one. Well, the blowout when we blew him out. You mean?
Yeah, 55-10.
Wow, I didn't know he had that mess up. Yeah.
Romanowski had a pass interference in that game where he was face guarding the player, and they called it on him. And that's what that play yesterday kind of looked. I was waiting for them to call defensive pass interference face guarding, and they didn't do it. The refs just wanted to get out of there. It's a freaking preseason
they didn't call anything. They didn't call anything.
You were mentioning the corners earlier, and I wanted to add that I think this is like the strongest cornerback group that we've had in a long, long time. I like what I've seen from Renardo Green. I've heard a lot of really good things about Isaac Yiadom, obviously Lenore and Charvarius Ward, and I'm pretty sure Emory Thomas isn't going to be in the squad, and possibly it sounds like Darrell Luter is probably going to take his spot, and Rocky Alcine isn't bad, and I just like what I see from the corner so far, and we should see a lot of good things.
Yeah, corner and safety look strong. Defensive line worries me. I know Randy Gregory got released the other day. You wonder if they bring him back.
Oh, bring him back, please. Please bring him back.
Yeah.
I'd love to have
Yeah.
him
Just for a body that has done it. I
back.
mean, he's got a lot
Compared
of
to the guys we
mental
have
issues.
now that are behind Bosa and Floyd,
Oh, yeah.
bring him back.
He'd be a big addition.
Like
And
I said,
did you
like
get-
I go ahead. Go ahead,
Did you
Jim.
guys see Did you guys see the typo? I'm pretty sure it was a typo. That new guy we got, Anderson. They said he was 6'3",
I saw
222
that. I saw
pounds.
that. I saw that.
And
He's
I'm
like one
like,
of our biggest
like-
players.
and I'm like, there's no way he's only 222 pounds. I'm like, what the hell are they doing?
That was too funny. Somebody's about to
Yeah.
get fired in the production room. Yeah. I believe he's
49er
like
Media
330. Yeah.
49er Media
did
says
it.
tight end is our weakest position. I have to agree.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sobert's a one-trick pony. All he can do is block. He can maybe catch a 5-yard pass or 10-yard pass at best. Braden Willis isn't bad receiving wise. He just doesn't look like a tight end to me. When I see him, I think like, okay, he's probably like a bigger Jawan Jennings. Kamla too is a big ass dude who looks like he got it pretty open on that deep pass. I wish he would have stretched out for the ball, but I hope they keep him around. Not that I was happy that we picked him or anything, but I just hope they keep him around on the practice squad and try to make something out of him. He's got some type of athleticism, but he just needs to piece it all together and become a football player. So, and Mason Plyn, 6'8" dude. I'd love to see what he could do. I don't know.
They say that Purdy is going to play in the preseason finale. I would assume other starters are going to play too. You guys worried that Niners play anybody in that preseason finale? Or you'd rather than have them just get to the regular season?
I think it'll be all right. I think we should start most of our guys. I don't think you should start McCaffrey because he's had that sore calf.
Yep.
Let him rest because, dude, McCaffrey doesn't need preseason. He's locked in. He's a different kind of player. Debo, I'd like to see just because I love watching Debo. Kittle, why not? Put him out there. I just hope we don't get any injuries. That's the main thing.
Yep.
Don't put anybody out there that has lingering injuries because that'd be stupid. Just get the defensive line out there, see what they can do. Because what I wasn't happy about this game was the inside, the middle of our defensive line did not stop the run like last year, and that used to be our strong set. We used to stop the run. When can't think of his name right now, D'Amico Ryans, and when Salah were the defensive coordinator, we had a great run defense game. This last year and this year starting already, they're running right up the middle, and that's not good. So I'm worried about that. So I want to see the defensive line. I want to see Hargrave out there. I want to see Gross Matos. I want to see the guy from the Browns. I can't think of his name right now. Elliott.
Jordan Elliott.
Elliott, and also
Mike
the
Collins.
Texans. Collins.
Didn't Malik
see all
Collins
those
play
guys.
the last 2 weeks? Has he played at all? Or
I don't think so.
So busy
I don't
paying
think
attention
him
to
and Jordan
certain
have played.
positions that I don't even. I'm so focused on certain skill positions that I don't pay attention to like defensive line, linebacker, or anything. I'm just like, okay, I'm watching the quarterbacks, watching pass rush, and watching so and so on the offensive line. I get so locked in watching preseason games. 49er Media said we should sign Yannick Ngakoue, who's also a free agent.
yeah, I looked up his what he did last year, and I know in past years he's been pretty badass. He only had 4 sacks last year, and he had a really, really low PFF rating with the Bears last year. So from what I was reading, it sounds like the Bears were in contact with him a few days ago. So I guess he might be returning the Bears, but I wouldn't mind getting him on the cheap, but I don't know how that would go. And
Terradome brought up someone who he said he'd love to see Jordan Mason. I almost want to keep Jordan Mason under lock and key till the regular season starts because, man, the Niners haven't had themselves a good running back number 2 that they'd actually have confidence to go to in a long time. And I really think Jordan Mason could be that guy. I know Elijah Mitchell's been that guy, but he can't stay healthy. Elijah Mitchell is literally like a walking chandelier. I mean, every time he plays, he injures his knee and he's out 6 weeks. He'll look so impressive. He'll do all this stuff, look like, God's gift to running backs, and then he's out for 6 weeks. So, it wouldn't be nice to see Jordan Mason, but like, I'd really rather have certain guys just shelve them certain players need to get reps. Like I said, guys who are going to be your backups, you want to get plenty of reps because you never know what's going to happen. But certain guys don't need to touch the preseason. A lot of people say that the Trent Williams contracts dispute is Trent Williams not wanting to play in the preseason, that he's going to end up signing right before the regular season starts. Just something I heard on Twitter. I don't know if it sounds like a load of garbage, but you never know.
Yeah, I mean, either way, even if he was signed, I'm pretty sure they would give him a veteran pass and be like, okay, we know you're really, really good. We know, did you just sit on the shelf till the preseason starts? I mean, I don't know if that sounds like that wouldn't be an issue.
No,
it doesn't really bother me
just,
if he's not out there. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, I mean, it's Trent Williams. He's like McCaffrey and all these big players. He doesn't need preseason. Just let the guy sit, relax. He's getting older. Let him relax for a few weeks,
I want to ask you this as we get out of here. It's kind of like the last thing. There's a lot of bad juju going into the season right now with the contract negotiations and the injuries and preseason and things like that. How much of we've talked about this, James, but Bash, I mean, like, can you sense a season, like a regression season coming this year, or what do they call a Super Bowl hangover? I mean, there's just things aren't peachy keen going into the regular season right now. There is a lot of stuff that, like, if you looked at it from just the face value, could say, oh, that could be something that could affect the 49ers down the road, or all these injuries. Are the Niners going to have one of those years like 2020 where they lose Bosa and Solomon Thomas in the same game against the Jets? You know what I mean? Like, I hate to say that there is a little bit of that vibe going into the regular season, and I hope the Niners can kind of do away with it. But I don't know. What do you, Bashar? What do you think?
What do I think? Just kidding. I mean, I think the 49ers are going to be in the mix, just like they've been the last 2 years. You got Brock Purdy. This is going to be his third year. Well, pretty much third year as a starter. And he actually gets to work on his game in this offseason and not have to worry about rehabbing his injury like he did last time around. And, with Purdy, especially if we sign Ayuk right before week one, well, obviously I was saying, like, this is going to be the best wide receiver core. Jeez, man. They said this is the best running. Kyle Juszczyk thinks this is the best running back room we have. You guys mentioned Cody Schrader. Cody Schrader didn't have much for holes at all this last game. It's unfortunate. But what I do like from the guy, he's got a nice build to him and he's really quick. So get him in a game with a real offensive line with Trent Williams around, and I think you'll see a lot of nice things with him. Jordan Mason, obviously. This team, man. This is the deepest defensive back room I've ever seen on Niners. We do got potentially have some good run stuffers and Jordan Elliott and Malik Collins. We just need to see them out there in real games, and same with Hargrave. And not this crap patchwork stuff that we got out there for the preseason, because they didn't look like themselves. But yeah, stopping the run is very, very important for this team. I don't think it's going to be the best in the league, but I definitely see it a lot better than what we saw, at least the real games, than what we saw this past Saturday. That's for sure. No way it could be that bad with the guys we have. I think they brought in a pretty good rotation of D linemen, at least on paper, after we got rid of Armstead's contract. So not too worried. Shout out to John V, by the way. Good buddy of mine. He goes on from the wow, I'm totally forgetting the name of his channel, man. I'm blanking on the name of your channel. You can go ahead and type in the chat, John. But yeah, I mean, I don't see this team. I'm not going to predict that they're going to win the Super Bowl or any crap like that, but I definitely see them in a mix of things. When you have a quarterback like Purdy and the roster we have and the coaching staff, and I don't see it going backwards unless like half the roster freaking gets hurt like that one season, which was crazy. Even in that season, with all the players that we had hurt, we were still only like 1 or 2 games away from making the playoffs. Or so, whatever, man. They just have to play and be themselves.
Yeah. I want to say thanks to John V. Yep. It's I'm holding that phone up. I got the ghetto version of the podcast, you know what I'm saying? I think we're gonna start off slow. Maybe, go like 2-2 or something like that. Because here's the thing, we don't have a lot of charisma with the guys that aren't here right now. There's Ayuk's missing and Trent Williams, and when guys don't play together every week, they lose that charisma a little bit. and then they gain it back after a while. But I think there's going to be a little, it's going to be a little rough in the beginning. But look at our team. We got such a good team. As long as we have no injuries like 2020, we'll be all right. I think they've learned a lot since 2020, so I don't think there will be as many injuries. They've probably taken that into effect. Like, fuck, I don't want to be 2020 again. The coaches probably are just do not want that to happen. So, and these guys are in shape. We've had a few seasons where there's guys that come to camp out of shape, and I haven't heard anybody really out of shape. So I think we'll be all right. I think Debo, I have a feeling Debo is going to have a great season because if you guys watch that show, he had the daddy power, the receiver, and they're talking about how when he became a dad, he became a better player. And I think it's true, man. I feel like if Ayuk doesn't get signed pretty soon, that Debo's going to be going off because he really wants to be that number one. He wants to be the star of the show. He is literally number one, his number. So that guy is, a show off, and I love it. And I hope he does have a great year. I hope he runs the ball. I hope he catches. Kittle, on the other hand, I don't know if he's going to have a good season because I kind of agree with you on, Kittle's my favorite player. But Aaron, I do agree with you on one thing. He does talk too much. He's in too much of this media bullshit. He needs to stop doing all that shit and focus on the game. So I don't think Kittle's going to have just a great year. But yeah, I'm looking for the Debo. I think some of these rookies got to step it up, though. It's I hope that Cowan steps it up. I hope that they're doing good so far. So I'm hoping. This is my big hope that we don't play the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. That's what I'm hoping. All right, that's all I care.
They can get injuries and they can choke. It can happen to any team, so you never know.
I know. I just don't want to go through it again. I don't want to go through it again.
It would be nice to beat them, though. We should have beat them this last time, but whatever.
It would.
Their day will come. They're not going to beat champions ever.
He's 49ers throwback. You said it. I like Kittle's energy. Just he's got to show up in the big games. To me, Kittle is a brand. At this point in the game, Kittle's a brand. Okay, Kittle's got a life that he's going to have after football. He's going to probably go to the WWE and do some stuff. He's trust me. This guy has his life planned out already post football. He's got a beautiful wife. I'm sure he's going to have some babies once he's done playing. I don't know, man. Like I look at him and I watch him, and yeah, he can still produce at a high level, but I don't know, man. Like the way he plays the game, the way him and Debo play the game, it's not conducive to long careers where you're playing. I mean, like every year those guys are missing 3-4 games every single year, and everyone's like, well, yeah, but they play the other 13 or whatever. It's like, yeah, but eventually that does catch up with you. So listen, all I want is good health this year. Do I think the Niners have a chance to maybe take a step back and struggle a little bit just because of that Super Bowl hangover? Yeah, absolutely. But I think just by hook or crook, because they have such a talented team, I think they'll find their way back deep in the playoffs. Are they going to win in the playoffs? Who knows? It's not even in September yet. If you watch that clip with that I showed earlier, there was another part to it. And he talked about how Kyle's got to figure out a way to change up his game plan to deal with that zero blitz that he got late in the game in the Super Bowl, where Chris Jones came in and unblocked. So, there was a whole clip,
he was stupid.
Yeah, it's still, I mean,
it wasn't even a bad play where they blitzed. They didn't even send the kitchen sink on that play. It was literally Burford had somebody right in front of him and he chose not to block him. That's how stupid it was.
Yeah, and the same thing happened with Jimmy G against the Rams. He got destroyed by Aaron Donald in that NFC Championship game, and it was the same kind of thing. It's like block. That's all you got to do is block.
Yeah, offensive line is not a priority for this franchise. I hate to say it. I think they fell into Pooney. I feel like Pooney was just like one of those things where they just happened to draft a guy because he was on their board. I don't think they went out of their way to say, like, we got to have Pooney because it's obvious that offensive line is not it's not something that they look at. They look at skill position players. That's what they worry about. Skill position and pass rush, defensive line. Those are their two obsessions. And it's evident by how they built the team. So, but we're going to get out of here, everybody. I will hopefully be on again this week with Raj. I'm sure Bashar has got some stuff going on the channel soon. If you want to tell everybody what you're going to be doing.
Nothing set in stone yet. Just stay tuned.
Yeah. Same with me. Me and James usually will be on later in the week once the season starts. Me and Bash will be like on Mondays or so. And still working out things with Raj. Hopefully, I don't know what's going on with me and Ted at the moment. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to cut back on some shows just because there's no need to have like 5 shows a week. You know what I mean? But everybody, thanks for coming through. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for being part of the comments. Thanks for joining us on Twitter. And we will see you guys next time. Peace, everybody.
See you later.
Yeah.